Hello everybody, welcome to RB&D Reviews. I'm Rob, and today I just got out of seeing the new Dr. Seuss adaptation of the Lorax, and I will be doing a review on it, so stay tuned. Checking out RB&D Reviews. I'm Rob, and here on this channel we try to give informative, introspective reviews of movies that are out in theaters as well as out on DVD. And today I will be reviewing the Lorax, which is probably Dr. Seuss's most environmentally themed book, I believe. And the reason why I'm doing this review outside is because right here we're in a, as you can see, we're in a forest. But a few years ago they actually started cutting down trees and building a street in here because they were planning on building houses in here. But then the economy hit, and well, nobody wants to build or buy these lots to build their houses in, so now there's just a forest with a street running through it, and they tore down trees basically for nothing. So I thought that kind of tied in with the movie. Basically the story of the Lorax is it's about a boy named Ted who lives in this town called Theodosville, I think it's called, and everything is fake. The houses are, you know, plastic trees and all that. It's pretty much a fake town. He hears that years ago that place used to have real trees there, and he hears about this character called the Onceler, and he decides to go visit this guy to learn about what happened to the trees and all that. And he tells the story of the Onceler tells the story about how he met this character called the Lorax when he started getting to that area and cutting trees down, and the Lorax kept telling him not to do that. It's damaging the forest, it's hurting the animal, but he didn't listen, and now he's paying for it pretty much. I was kind of a little bit unsure about this movie when I went to see it, because I don't really, up to this point, I really didn't think Dr. Seuss's books could be made into feature-length movies, and I got two reasons for that. For one, you know, Dr. Seuss's books are small picture books. You know, it's hard to take that and adapt them into feature films because you have to add so much stuff into it. And they work better, I think, as those half-hour cartoons that you see on TV or on DVD or video from time to time than they do feature-length movies. And sometimes the new stuff that they add into the movie, along with the stuff that's actually based on the book, sometimes don't gel very well together, and it feels like padding. And another reason is sometimes the lead characters are played by famous celebrities, in this case Jim Carrey and Mike Myers, and they just, I know, sometimes they re-tailor everything just to suit their personality, and sometimes I feel like it kind of diminishes what Dr. Seuss was going for from the get-go. But I gotta say, I think the Lorax is probably one of the better Dr. Seuss adaptations that I've seen so far. For one thing, I think this is one of the better ones because I think the new scenes fit very well with the existing stuff. It doesn't feel like padding to me. It feels like everything is connected, and I think they did a much better job at exploring the theme. Like recently I rewatched Jim Carrey's Horton Hears a Who, and I felt like the theme kind of got lost with Jim Carrey's personality kind of taking over the film a little bit when he played Horton. But here, all the new stuff fits very well together, and it explores the environmental theme. And this time there really is no overbearing comedic personality. There's Danny DeVito, but I think the character suits him well, where they didn't have to adapt the character to suit him. I think he was a perfect fit for that character. And the movie is very funny and moves at a very, very brisk pace. And the cast, voiceover cast, was pretty good. And I gotta admit, I haven't really seen Zac Efron's other films, and I only know Taylor Swift from her music. But from what I heard, they played their parts very well, and Ed Helms, I think, was really good as playing the Onceler that's living out in the former forest, and Danny DeVito, like I said, was pretty good in the character. And what's unique about this movie is I think this movie fits everybody in the family very well. Like, there's going to be something for everybody. For the kids, it's a cartoon, and there's a little funny character, funny character of the Lorax, and then there's, of course, the young adults will probably fit the teens, and for adults, it's a very smart satire on the environment and, of course, the chopping down of trees and hurting the environment and what people are doing to our world and all that. So it's a very funny social satire on that I think will suit adults very well. And of course, the movie is filled with metaphors and subtext for all different kinds of things. And it's just something when you leave the movie theater, you can think about what you watch. It's not like you pay, you see the movie, and then you leave and you forget about it. I think when you leave the theater, I can imagine families discussing what they saw, what it all means, and it all. And of course, the movie is pretty relevant. I mean, not just with environmental issues, but any issues in general. Because right now, there's a lot of political issues out right now where groups of people are banding together and they're protesting what they think is, they're protesting against what they think is wrong. And in this movie, there's people that are going up against, cutting down of forests and the trees and all that. And so I think it's relevant in that way. It's not just about the environment. There's other people are banding together and they're protesting what they think against what they think is wrong, and they're trying to go for change. So it's relevant today, no matter what the issue is. And the characters, there's a lot of different, like I said, there's different metaphors. Like the one slur represents, I think, business people that are oblivious to what they're doing, and by the time they're at the end, they regret what they're doing, but it's too late. And of course, there's another villain in this movie called O'Hare that sells air in bottles. He kind of reminded me of those politicians that sort of scare people into thinking like him. So again, pretty relevant. The only thing I didn't care for about this movie was the songs. I thought they're pretty forgettable. There's 4 of them, and there's one that I remember very well, and it's at the end of the movie. It's called Let It Grow. But other than that, the songs are pretty forgettable. I don't really remember the words, which is a shame, because one of them is a satire on on the issues with our environment, and sadly I don't really remember that very well. So if there's a flaw with the Lorax, I think it's just that the songs are pretty forgettable. But other than that, I really enjoyed it, and if you haven't seen this movie, go see it. Hopefully, for those of you that have families, I think it's definitely worth going together and seeing and paying to see. So I'm going to give the Lorax a see it in theaters verdict, and go ahead and leave your comments about the movie if you have seen it or about this video.